Most people don't realize that the FDA actually allows a certain amount of insect fragments, rodent hair, mold, and pesticides in our food supply. Yes, these are acceptable limits that are legally permitted in the food that we consume every day. I'm going to share with you the top 15 foods that you might want to rethink. And if you have a weak stomach or feel nauseous, maybe you should skip this video. Number 1 on my list is peanut butter. It's allowed to have up to 30 insect fragments and 1 rodent hair per 100 grams. Keep in mind that peanuts are one of the most highly sprayed pesticide crops and also very prone to mold formation, specifically one called aflatoxin, and this is something I can test for. Number 2 on my list is actually another one of the most highly sprayed pesticide crops. In fact, it's actually the most chemically treated food on earth. And yes, it's coffee. The roasted beans can have and contain up to 10% insect-damaged beans. Number 3 on my list, I'm sorry to say, is probably a favorite of many. It's chocolate. Legally, it's permitted to have up to 60 insect fragments per 100 grams. And cacao beans are a very highly sprayed pesticide crop. To be honest, this 4th one kind of grossed me out. Thank God I don't really eat too much of these products, but they are tomato products, so things like pasta, sauce, ketchup. Legally allowed to have up to 30 fly eggs or 2 maggots for 100 grams. Next up, coming in hot at number 5, canned mushrooms. So they're allowed to have up to 20 maggots per 100 grams. Also beware of mushrooms because they do absorb a lot of the agricultural sprays and heavy metals from the soil. Number 6, canned spinach. It's allowed to have up to 50 aphids, thrips, or mites, these are all garden pests, per 100 grams. But spinach in general, just as like the raw spinach leaves, are one of the most highly pesticide-contaminated greens and also can harbor bacteria like E. coli and Salmonella. There are outbreaks that have been associated with this crop. Number 7, wheat and flour products. Allowed up to 150 insect fragments per 100 grams. And also these grains and crops are sprayed with glyphosate Roundup before they're harvested. Number 8, frozen or canned berries, things like strawberries, blueberries, raspberries. They're allowed up to 4 larvae or 10 whole insects per 500 grams. And just keep in mind of the dirty dozen list, so things like spinach are on there, but strawberries are one of the big ones. Probably some of the highest pesticide residue can be found in strawberries. Number 9 on my list are canned juices. So think things like citrus, whatever. They're allowed up to 5 fruit fly eggs and 1 maggot per 250 milliliters. So definitely consider making your own fresh juices. Don't buy it from cans. Number 10 and 11 are some of our favorite cruciferous vegetables. Broccoli and cabbage. They have a lot of pesticides on them for sure, but broccoli is allowed up to 60 aphids or thrips, and cabbage up to 30 aphids, both per 100 grams. Number 12 and 13 are common food and health items that I'm sure a lot of people eat. And they are not only just full of contaminants and pesticides and insect fragments, but also prone to mold formation from the way they're stored. So things like oatmeal and breakfast cereal, that's number 12. They are full of insect fragments from grain contamination, and oats are one of the highly sprayed pesticide crops with glyphosate. Then we have things like raisins and dried fruits. Raisins are actually listed by the EWG as having some of the highest pesticide levels, but they can contain larvae and insect fragments as well. And canned asparagus is another one. They are allowed to have up to 40 or more aphids per 100 grams. And the last one on my list are dried figs or fig paste that's used in baked goods. Figs are such great fruits and they contain allulose, which is a great alternative form for sugar. But legally, they can contain up to 13 insect heads per 100 grams. The best thing you can do to navigate around all this toxicity and craziness is make informed choices and regain some of that control back as best as you can. A lot of times we do feel helpless, but buy organic as much as you can, especially when it comes to the dirty dozen. I actually think it's a dirty 15 now. There's more than a dozen on that list. And support your local farmers, choose regenerative farming. And if you can, try to grow some of your own things. I know a lot of people have their own, gardens and their own chickens, etc. Buy organic when it comes to chocolates and coffee and peanut butter. These are very dirty crops. And wash your fruits and vegetables when you bring them home, and use water and baking soda. I've done a video on this. Take about 1 to 2 teaspoons of baking soda and about a cup of water and soak for about 10 to 12 minutes. You can use vinegar. That does work, but baking soda is a little more superior. So the bottom line is the FDA calls these food defects, but the truth is our food system is tainted with things like insect fragments and pesticides and mycotoxins, and they're labeled as acceptable. So the more you're aware, the more power you will have in order to feel like you can do something for your health and wellness. So stay informed.
Many divorces don't happen because of a lack of love. They happen because of financial stress. An unexpected illness or accident can force families to deplete their savings, max out credit cards, or even drain their 401k just to survive. That financial strain often leads to arguments, stress, and broken homes. But here's the solution most people don't know about: life insurance with living benefits. If you're diagnosed with a serious illness or suffer a major accident, this policy can pay you while you're still alive. That means you don't have to touch your retirement savings or your 401k. You can focus on recovery, not bills, and keep financial peace at home. Protect your savings. Protect your marriage. Protect your future.
Did you know that medical bills are the #1 cause of bankruptcy and even divorce? One unexpected illness can wipe out your savings, put your family in debt, and create stress that damages relationships. But it doesn't have to be that way. With life insurance that includes living benefits, you can access tax-free money while you're still alive to help with medical bills, lost income, or other urgent needs. Start young, lock in a low rate, and protect your future while you're still healthy. Call or text me at 910-447-6508 to get started today.